Hey, JJ, and you mentioned in your podcast yesterday you've basically been working on court on a daily basis. What kind of activity are you doing now, and what needs to happen for you to ramp that up to practicing and then playing?
Yeah, I've had a really good 48 hours. Last week I started on Monday, and it was just a general progression from standstill, spot shooting, a lot of form shooting, free throws, stationary ball handling, to shorter movements. The last couple days I've been able to do some sprinting, whether it's 15, 20 feet short sprints or full court sprints. So it's just a matter of being able to maintain that. Right again, this is all progression and build up. So I'm hopeful, that I'm close and not too far away. It's hard to really give a timeline on anything, but this is exactly 3 weeks from my injection, and I think I'm progressing well.
Dwayne Price, Mavs.com.
Yes, JJ, you've had a chance obviously to play against Luka and KP before. What is your opinion on those two guys, and how do you feel about playing with them?
Well, they're great players. I'm very excited to play with them. In a sense, they're both the proverbial unicorn. There's not many people at 7'3" that can do what KP does, and Luka is as good as anybody in the league at creating his own shot and creating for other people. So it's I've been very fortunate to play with some great players in my career, and those two guys are going to be at the top of the list for sure.
All right, Skylar Dixon, AP.
JJ, obviously the Mavs made this move with the playoffs in mind. Ideally, how many games would you like to get to sort of get your feet under you before the postseason?
What they have 29 left, I think.
We have 21.
21? No, more than
20.
20.
No, 24 and 21. I think.
I mean, I'd like to play in every game from here on out. I like to play basketball, so there's no ideal number. The ideal number is the most amount of games possible. I like a lot of players. I'm a rhythm player, and so I want to be in a good rhythm going into the playoffs. I want to get a good sense of kind of how I can help this team and fit in. I've not played a basketball game since March 3rd, I think. So I'm itching to get back on the court. I love playing, so I want to play as many games as possible and try to help this team.
Mark Followell, Mavs TV.
Hey, JJ, good afternoon and welcome to the team. With your opportunity today to practice with the guys and to interact with your new teammates for the first time, to interact with the coaching staff for the first time, could you just share with us what that was like today to start building those relationships with your new teammates and new coaching staff?
Yeah. I just want to be clear on one thing. I'm not practicing with the team. I haven't progressed to that stage yet. I just want to be clear.
Sure.
I was able to see a couple of the guys this morning when I came in for testing, and then I went and did my work, my court work for an hour, and then got a lift in, and then I just kind of hung around the gym till the team showed up, and was able to have some interactions before practice and after practice with the guys. A couple of them like Boban and Nico I've played with before, but I'm looking forward to getting to know everybody. It's one of the best things about the NBA is building relationships with your teammates and with your coworkers on the staff. I'm definitely looking forward to getting to know everybody.
Brad Townsend, Dallas Morning News.
Yeah, JJ, this might seem like an odd question, but I went back and listened to the podcast that you had.
Thank you, Brad.
Mark Cuban.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
When Mark Cuban was on, and I thought it was pretty fascinating. In hindsight, how much did you learn about Mark that day? It seemed like he learned a lot from you, and I kind of wonder if, in hindsight, that was like a job interview.
That's probably a better question for Mark, I think. I've got a lot of respect for Mark and the businessman and the owner, and what he's built with the Dallas Mavericks. the great thing about the podcast for me is I typically get to learn something every episode. And, my memory serves me correct. Mark was an awesome guest, and I really enjoyed that conversation.
Isaac Harris.
JJ, Carlisle has mentioned a few times just about adding your experience and just your veteran presence around this young team. I'm wondering if there was somebody early in your career that was a veteran that had that experience that plugged into you that you learned a lot from.
Sure. I mean, I get asked that every now and then, and it's usually the same few guys. For me, the guy that really gave me life and encouragement early in my career when I was struggling was Keon Dooling, who's now an assistant with the Utah Jazz. Keon was just great for me my first 2 years. My third year, we signed Rashard Lewis, and Rashard was really good to me in terms of being a teammate and a friend. But watching Rashard and what I learned from watching him probably had the greatest impact on my career. And it's funny because Ray Allen learned from one of his teammates how to be a pro by watching him. Rashard learned from Ray Allen how to be a pro from watching him. And I learned how to be a pro from watching Rashard. So I would say probably those two guys probably had the biggest impact on me.
All right, we'll do a few more here. Kevin Gray.
Hey, JJ, welcome to Dallas. I'm curious, you were very candid about your desires on your podcast about what you were looking to see for yourself as far as the trade and buyout was concerned. Why was that important for you to discuss that and get that out clearly? And what do you expect your role to be here as far as being a Dallas Maverick is concerned?
Why was it important? Well, first of all, you're going to get asked about that in a Zoom session with the Dallas media. You're going to get asked about that in the weeks after any trade happens. I happen to have a platform, and so the reason I addressed it was because I know I'm going to get asked that question, and I'm going to answer a question from you is the same way that I would be on my podcast, which is I'm just going to be honest and truthful. And that was my honest assessment of what transpired. In terms of the Dallas situation, I know I reiterated this several times on the podcast. Hey, look, this is a great situation. Basketball wise, I think it'll be a lot of fun. I'm hoping that I can really help this team in a few ways and contribute to winning and contribute to hopefully a long playoff run.
All right, we'll do one more from Dorothy.
Hi, JJ. Welcome to Dallas. Can you talk a little bit about how your faith has helped you navigate this profession for the past 15 years, both on and off the court?
Sure. Well, your faith is what grounds you. In our profession, you have a lot of ups and downs. You have ups and downs in your personal life. You have ups and downs in your professional life. You're constantly being critiqued and judged, literally on a daily basis during the season. And emotionally and mentally, that can take its toll. And everybody has sort of a grounding force. And my life, going back to when I was a child, it has always been my faith. And that's sort of the building block on which everything else in my life happens.